In Acts 27 and 28, Paul was in the middle of a deadly shipwreck when the language of the scripture proves that he stopped, broke bread, and took communion. Later on, when the ship ran aground, he swam to the nearby island of Malta. There, an extremely poisonous viper bit him, yet he was left totally unaffected. The communion had made him impervious to its deadly venom. Last year, I was like Paul, going through a shipwreck, and communion was my life vest. When my doctor announced I had cancer, I was shocked. It was the third time. God had healed the previous cases supernaturally, so I wondered why I felt so much dread. For some reason, it seemed like this one was the worst attack I'd ever gone through, even though I had countless others to compare it to. It didn't help that the doctor told my husband and I that if I didn't take chemotherapy, I would die. When we refused, he reared up saying, "I won't be complicit in your plan to kill yourself." You know, looking back, it was almost comical, but at the time, it accomplished what the enemy intended, fear. Yet Robert and I, we stuck to our guns. We totally changed our food habits and we ate only organic, and I pursued every proven holistic treatment, and I took communion. 3 times a day, I would do as Jesus instructed in John 6, eat his flesh and drink his blood. I had done likewise during round 2 of a different cancer. When I had developed an indentation in my breast, God showed me it was from a demonic serpent that was trying to kill me. I spent a whole night soaking in the fiery presence of God, then successfully removed that spirit. And afterwards, the Lord told me to take communion. He said it would heal my body of the disease that beast had pumped into me. A week later, the indentation in my breast totally filled in over a 3-night period of time, and I was completely healed. I kind of felt like Paul on the island of Malta, bitten by a poisonous viper, yet left unharmed. However, this 3rd round of cancer that happened last year caused my faith to take a hit. I was struggling to believe. During the trial, I just kept reminding myself how much God loved me, that he wanted to heal me, and I also leaned into the power of communion. Like clockwork, I would sit in my kitchen every day and partake of the supper. Then one afternoon, as I walked to my spot, I looked up and I saw this tall beam of light floating in midair. I knew it was an angel of the Lord come to minister to me, but I also knew in my spirit that he had come as a result of my faithfulness to partake of the Lord's broken body and his precious blood. As the angel stood there, I sat quietly reading the scriptures in Acts 27 about the angel that visited Paul during the shipwreck. He had come to deliver a word and strengthen his faith. The angel told him that no one on the ship would lose their life. The scriptures say that Paul believed him and afterwards took communion. That day, I sat there in the presence of that angel and also partook of the supper. Then suddenly a new spark of faith entered me. I too believed what I was hearing. I would not lose my life. I would survive the shipwreck. I would be like Paul. Not only did he live, but he went on to heal all the sick people on that island. 3 months later, I was doing just the same thing. I was back on the road ministering miracles to people around the country. My doctor was very shocked when he saw that my latest blood test showed that my cancer levels were at a 7. Normal levels are 35 and under. Communion had once again played a huge role in my healing, a fact that I remember every single day. I developed this resource about communion because of the amazing encounters I've had with the power of communion. In this 2-disc set, I teach on communion on disc 1, but then on disc 2, I have taken the entire CD to personally lead you through taking communion. We're literally going to be able to take communion together. As we do, you're going to be healed of the violence of the storm you've been going through, of people abandoning you during the shipwreck like they tried to do to Paul. You're going to be healed of all the shipwrecks in your life and have them turn into victories. You're going to be healed of having to throw all your provisions overboard like Paul did just to stay alive. And you're going to be healed of any diseases and snake bites you incurred during the storm. I am told that many churches are using communion for your soul as a tool to take communion during their services, as well as people are using it in their own homes. I take communion with this disc all the time because it gives me a way to focus, then receive a miracle. I really recommend this set because it's going to usher you into breakthroughs and victories into every area of your life.